Welcome
to the joy of coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 285 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. It's so good to have you here. It's April 6, 2022. We're going to be live hacking on some Firefox stuff. We're going to be reviewing some patches, answering some neat infos, working on some scripts. Maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll get to some viewer questions. Let's get into it. Let's get started. I'll start by sharing my screen. Okay, let's start with the agenda here. Like I said, it's April 6, 2022, episode 285. A reminder, if you're watching this stream for the first time, no plan survives breakfast. I have a sense of what I want to do today. I think I know how I want it to proceed, but hey, maybe I'll get sidelined. Maybe I'll get derailed and stuck on something. You know, we might not get all the way through this stuff. I might get stuck on the first thing, and that's what we spend the hour and a half doing, or maybe I'll run out of stuff to do and we'll have to make some things up. That's all right. This is capturing software development in the raw, which means that things might not go exactly according to plan, because there is no plan. It's just me working. That's the first thing. The second thing is that the agenda that we're looking at is something that you have access to. If you're watching this on Air Mozilla, check out the video details. If you're watching this on YouTube, check out the video description. And if you're watching this on Twitch, then let me just drop a link into the Twitch chat. You can follow along there. Hopefully, I'm seeing some chatter. Hopefully, everyone can hear me. Is everything working okay? I see Danny Colin typing, but it looks like my monitor is showing that I am making sounds. Audio is coming through. If anything's going wrong with the stream, let me know. There is also an episode guide that you should be you should be made aware of. It's a great resource for people who might want to know what's been covered in previous episodes, and maybe you too want to contribute to the episode guide. Maybe you want to add your own notes or addenda to a particular episode. Maybe this episode. Maybe you want to kind of expand on a point I was chatting about, or correct me because if I made a mistake or something. If you would like to do that, there are instructions here in the agenda on how you can both get to the episode guide, but also how to contribute to the episode guide. So please consider that. All right, let's get started. What do I want to do today? Well, the first thing I want to do is review a patch. This is a patch from a volunteer contributor who very graciously answered my call for a good first bug. So I was digging around in the source code for unrelated reasons, and I noticed that there was some code related to Flash, the Adobe Flash plugin, still in the code. And, we stopped supporting Flash sometime back in 2020, I think it was. That's when it was end of life. And so this is all dead code. And I filed a bug, and I said, hey, this is dead code. Let's get rid of it. And a volunteer contributor, IRWP, showed up to save the day. And they have a patch here, so let's check it out. Now, this has actually already gone through a round of review. I've already reviewed this once, but there was some review feedback. They've applied that review feedback, and now I'm looking at the patch again. So that's the context. Let's get started. This is part of the review feedback. Part of the things that ended up being dead code were a bunch of these prefs as well. These prefs were being used to record state related to Flash, and those prefs aren't being used anymore. We can actually double check that. And I'll do that real quick right now. I'm going to use SearchFox to make sure nothing else is referring to those prefs besides what's being removed in browser glue. So yeah, there is a reference to it as well. The same pref is duplicated for both Firefox and just the Gecko platform in general in all.js. And it looks like there was probably a removal for it as well. Disable protected mode. Yep, makes sense. And then the browser glue change, will take care of the other two uses of that pref right there and there. So good to go. That removal makes sense. And then there was also this one to remove. Let's just double check, make sure we're not removing anything critical. Yeah, it was only referred to once inside of browser glue, and that reference is being removed, so we can safely remove that pref. And then there's this one. Also only being used inside of browser glue and the two uses are being removed. Now, there's one last thing to consider, and that's, sometimes prefs, it doesn't happen often, but sometimes prefs aren't referred to by their full name. Like, there's this kind of pseudo namespacing going on with, like, browser dot flash protected mode dot dash flip dot done. And those dots are like a way of creating categories or branches, a tree effectively of preferences. And sometimes it's possible, you don't see it too often, but people will refer to pref branches. And what they're talking about is like a like an entire namespace of prefs, and then they can manipulate like individual like little nodes off of that branch. It's not like a typical usage of prefs, but it's possible. So I just want to do a quick check to see if anything is referring to flash protected mode. Outside, I do see there was like this. Yeah, so there's a knowledge. This is more of a link to some sumo page, and that's also being removed. So I think we're good. And let's also make sure that plugins flash disable protected mode. That's what I want to look for. It's also not being used anywhere else. Yes, we're good. We're good. So those pref removals make sense to me. Let's move on. So this was the thing that I had noticed when I was digging through browser glue. There's this flash plugin hang observer, handler of the observer notification. So that's been removed. That's good. And then this is the part where we both register the observer and presumably where is the deregistration? Do we ever deregister these observers? Because we add the observers right here. Do we ever de-add them or remove them? That's another way of saying that. Let's just double check. Flash hang. What was it? Flash plugin hang. Flash plugin hang. So that's its use. It doesn't look like we had ever removed it before. And maybe that's okay, because browserglue.jsm is a singleton. It only runs once, and it runs at the very beginning when Firefox is starting up. So cleaning up, if like browser glue is going away, it's because the browser's shutting down. So removing the observer is just kind of like busy work because the process is already going away. So it's probably okay. Like there's this disposal stuff, and like some observers are removed, and I don't know how useful those removals actually are, but it's fine. Like I don't think we have to worry about this. Certainly, if this was like something that we would have like instances of, maybe there's something bound to a window, and a user might open many windows and close those windows, and we were adding an observer every time, then I'd want to make sure that we were removing that observer when the window closed, because then you could leak memory. But because this is just a singleton, only one is ever created at the beginning, we're okay. There was this like property flash hang count that was being used. Let's make sure all those instances are being removed. 1147. There was 4569, which is also being removed. Line numbers changed on us. That's okay. And then 1147, where it's being reset to 0. Oh, no, that's where I just was. Okay, so that makes sense. We're removing that property. Don't need that anymore. See you later. So this is related to some review feedback I'd given, because I think this had been removed. Okay, I see what happened. This had been removed, and then I asked for it to be put back, because this chunk of code is part of what we call migrations, UI migrations, where, you know, upon upgrade, if we need to like update some state somewhere, like maybe we need to update how we store permissions, we'll do it once after an upgrade in one of these migrations. If you've ever done like database migrations, it's kind of like that, but it's not necessarily for databases. And that's what these things are. They're kind of like very simple migrations. And it might be for things too, like if we've introduced a new button, we'll want to introduce it in a place that makes sense amongst a user's customizations. So we might do that insertion once on an upgrade or something. And this is related to Flash and it was removed, but we generally don't want to remove migrations. We'll eventually want to like retire a bunch of them after we do what's called a watershed release, where, you know, a watershed release is a release where users must upgrade to a particular release before they can upgrade to ones after that. And I don't know when the last watershed was, but we probably only want to remove these after a watershed to make sure that users have gone through them. So we should probably keep it here. But it looks like what happened was it was duplicated accidentally. So this is going to be my first piece of review feedback. It looks like this got accidentally duplicated instead of just restored. So we can just go ahead and remove this duplicate migration. Like, even if this did land, it would be a no op, I'm pretty sure, because, well, no, it wouldn't. It would make it run twice because we don't update the current UI version until the very end. So we do want to definitely remove that. And then this removal is what I remember from the first revision of this patch, and this all made sense. And one of the things I had noticed about it is, it's a little tricky to read because I'm so zoomed in, but there were some strings being used, like the flash hang message and flash hang help button, and I figured we could probably remove those. And I have a feeling that's what's happening down here. Yes, good. Those are being removed too. So we're in good shape. This is basically good to go. I'm very happy with this. Great work. Let me get the IRWP. Great work, IRWP. This looks fantastic. Just one last thing to address before landing, which is that the migration thing, chunk of code, seemed to have gotten duplicated when you restored it. Once that's removed, I think we're good to go here. So I will request changes and submit. So there's our review. Whoops, and did I just break my shirt? No, it's a snap button. We're okay. All right, so we are done that code review. Let's now go through a need info, because someone gave me a need info, and we were going to address this last week, and then we ran out of time. So I filed this 2 months ago, so back in February. Steps to reproduce. Visit Google Calendar. Click on any event such that the event pop-up bubble appears and a new session history entry is created via push state. Open the browser console. Execute this. Get the count. Get the entry. Get the load type. The emitted load type should be 8 since this history entry was created via push state. The emitted load type is 0. I don't think we've ever set it to anything but 0 or load history in the old implementation. Why do you need to know this? Oh, and as Smog pointed out, some of the load reload values and use of load type can be quite surprising since it depends on the most recent load the entry was used for. Oh. It's typically load history, except when reload is pressed, it has load history. Load type. I said it should be 8 since it was created by push state. Load type. Push state. So we have all these load types. And there's one called load push state. So Where's load push state used then if it's never used for... It's set on the doc shell. The doc shell, not the session history. So maybe I was mistaken. Maybe what we have here is a case of mistaken identity and poor naming. The load type for the document, load type enum, is defined. Oh, I see. So the load type on an NSI SH entry is not some kind of indication of what load type was on the NSI doc shell when this SH entry was last loaded. If that's the case, then sure, I guess this is an invalid bug. I guess I find load types meaning kind of confusing then. Load types meaning in the context of NSISH entry kind of confusing then. I'll ask Peter V. I guess this should be an invalid bug, not a invalid bug, an invalid bug. Okay, so need info answered. Boom, boom. We're blasting right through this. Let's now go to this thing. We were working on this the week before last. This is a linting tool, a linting rule rather, for our Moki test manifest files for test manifests to make sure that they're in alphabetical order. And the reason for that is because they're actually executed in alphabetical order, regardless of what order they're in the manifests, and we would like the two to always be in sync with one another, because then that makes it easier for us to like sort of reason about, what order the tests are in. Yeah. So I had built a work in progress. Let's see if we can find that patch. Here we go. And we're going to rebase that on top of central. We're just going to bring it back into the present. Yank it into the future. And the reason I want to work on this is because I got some review feedback, which was, hey, this looks great. I added a couple of comments. Docs probably aren't super necessary in this case, though a quick test would be appreciated. Okay, great. So there was some review feedback for this stuff. This will catch all test manifests, not just Moki tests. We'll either need to add some exclusions here. Example, XPC shell. Unfortunately, as I recall correctly, we don't support globs in the include key. Otherwise, I'd recommend we specifically include the Moki test manifests. Yeah, I remember that from last time too. Is it would be nice if we could have globs in include. Globs being these things where you can like use a string with these stars to kind of indicate what you mean. I'd recommend making this a warning for now. That way you can turn it on immediately without fixing all pre-existing instances of the error and tree. It will help prevent new instances from landing while we convert the existing ones over. Okay. So how do we make this a warning? I can't exactly remember how you do warnings. And it looks like I failed to put new lines at the end of these. Okay. Well, let's start by checking out the patch. So I just rebased it onto central, and here it is. So let's update to it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to put that new line at the bottom of this file so that the linter will stop complaining. It really wants me to reformat my Python. So maybe I can use the linting tool to do that. If I just pass in that path, will it tell me what my problems are? And if so, it might even be able to fix them automatically. That is one of the nice things about some of our linters. Bow, bow, bow. Hey, oh, I've got like some floor leaking out here. That's kind of annoying. I'm trying to fix that. One sec. Whoop, too far. All right, better. Fun news, by the by. Okay, so it did find those errors. Let's try and fix them. Next week, I might be back in the office to stream. It's been like, when was my first at-home episode of The Joy of Coding? It was probably back in 2021, maybe around... or was it 2020? Oh my goodness, it would have been 2020. It would have been probably February? March? March 24th? When did I... No, sorry, I'm in the wrong months again. 2020. It would have been in March of 2020. Holy smokes. Yeah, back in March 18th was my very first home stream. Because before episode 208, I was doing it all from the office, more or less. I'd never really streamed from home. And then since episode 200, it's been almost 300... Sorry, not 300. It's been almost 100 episodes. We're getting up there of me streaming from home. That is wild. That is wild. But next week, I might be back in the office to stream. So that sounds pretty exciting. I might even be able to get some special guests. You know, like people who could sit next to me and we could like hack on some things together. We could pair on some things and you could hear us chatting and nattering back and forth. That is more possible whenever we have when we're back in the office. Okay, it looks like it fixed the issues. That's great. It seemed to want me to use double quotes and fix some spacing. Okay, great. So I'll just amend those changes for now and we can not worry about them. Now, the other thing, he wanted me to make these warnings, and I'm trying to remember how to do that. These results, this result structure, I think is what I need to do something with. Result from config. There was this documentation that I was referring to, and I think that's what I want to pull up. So that's how you define a linting job, and this is how you write a linter. How do you make it a warning? Level. We want to set the level to warning. That's what it looks like. So let's open up this file again. I guess I had never opened it. Level warning. And a quick test would be appreciated. Sure, no problem. What would be great is if we could make this apply to... unfortunately, we don't support globs include... recommend we might need to add XPC shell. Is it intentional that we don't support globs in include? Maybe that's something I can ask Ahal about. Let me see if I can find a good room. Where's Ahal? Tools and automation. Linting. I'm looking for like tools. I'm looking for a good matrix room, and then I can chat with him. Dev tools? No. Automation? Automationeers? Maybe this is the one. Who's in here? People. Al in here. No. Okay. Wrong room. How do I find out where Ahal is? You know what? I'll just use the fallback, which is Firefox Desktop Development. So I'm gonna bring. This is a public channel. I'm gonna bring it here. Oh, Ahal's on PTO. Ahal's away. So maybe we can try and see what would be required in order to make this use globs, use globs. So let's see how that works. So the linting stuff, where is it? Tools, lint. Presumably a bunch of this is going to be inside of Python. But like the actual like linting command, where does that occur? I guess one of the things we can do is we can look for moslint. Yeah, where's moslint? I think that's what we're looking for. Moslint. Python, moslint. There you are. And then path utils. Is there something in here about globs? Aha! Includes are always paths and should always exist. Exclude paths with and without globs will be handled separately. Pull them apart now. P in exclude if not P exists. Match exclude globs. A list of paths that should be included. Required. A list of paths that should be excluded. Optional. Includes are always paths and should always exist. Maybe we can add support for globs. How is globs working? So a list of excludes, for example, looks like this. Normalize. What is normalize? Oh, so we have some functional code here. What happens is it looks at a string, sees whether or not there's a star in it, and if it's not got a star in it and it is not an absolute path, I guess, it will create a path. Otherwise, it will create a filter path. Filter path, which is a thing that allows us to see whether or not a path matches something. Okay, so we run that across all of the includes as well. That's interesting. So include like the globs is path for P in exclude if not P exists. So include dot. Do we ever use dot exists or something? Like Handle, include, exclude directives that exist. Don't have globs. Next, expand excludes with globs. I think what I should do before I go too deep into this is figure out if it was an intentional choice to not allow for globs in the include. Ah, yeah, we removed the ability in this bug. It was an intentional choice. Around test. The only exception for this rule is that we exclude OBJ directly. Might be useful in the future, but since it's causing unnecessary complexity, I'd like to remove it. We can always revisit adding it back in or implementing something different to solve our future needs. This was 4 years ago. We might want to keep globs for exclude. They are useful for things like excluding all node modules directories. I can't think of any good reason to allow them in include, and none of our existing linters use that feature anyway. So we might be able to restore some of this. Rename filter paths to test path utils. Be explicit about which linters are used for functions. And then this last one, remove the ability to specify globs and include directive. Maybe we should put this back. There's only a single linter that uses glob and include path, and that usage is easily replaced by using the extensions key instead. How did they do it? Which test disable YAML? What? How did that one get updated? Or was it actually changed in this patch? Maybe there's a different related bug. Well, what we could do, now that we know that, is we could look at the history of test disable. Excuse me. It doesn't exist anymore. It's referred to. Fascinating. Okay, let's see if we can figure out when this thing did exist at one point. Let's look back in ESR 91. Did it exist back then? Not really. Tools lint test dash disable. Tools lint. Yeah, it's not there. So if it was before 91, let's go back further. 78. Aha. So this is a kind of a glob, I guess. It represents a whole bunch of things. And it's just saying, hey, just look at any instead. So that's what they're meaning from this. By using extensions key. Since globs and include directives aren't very useful, it's disallowed them. This will allow us to simplify the filter path logic quite substantially, make future refactorings in this area easier. Okay. Oh, so yeah, then they did change it here. Sorry, I missed that. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask, hey, Hal, it looks like, oh, you may all do it in the code review. Or, no, I'll do it here with a neat info flag. It looks like globs for include directives was removed intentionally in such and such bug. This bug. Do you think this is a good reason to reintroduce it? This linter is a good reason to reintroduce it, so we can match on mokitest.ini. Mokitest. Chrome any browser.ini. Request information from AHAL. Is he gonna let me? Yes, okay. So while we're waiting for that information, we're not blocked because we can write a test for our linter. Good point. Need info you in the bug about maybe reintroducing glob support for include. Okay. Let's push what we've got up. And then we'll start on that test. Pause, fab, submit, tip, single, whip. Now, how do their tests work? Every new checker must have tests associated. They should be pretty easy to write, as most of the work is managed by the moslint framework. I like it! The key declaration is the linter variable, which must match the linker declaration. What? Do you mean linter declaration? Linker? It's the linter variable. I don't know what that means. Okay, anyways, a Flake8 test looks like the following snippet. Import Moz unit, so they're using Moz unit, which I guess is some kind of unit test framework. You define some function that starts with test underscore. Oh, this is the linter directive. It must match the linter declaration. I'm gonna maybe supply a follow-up patch to fix that typo. Results equals lint paths bad, then a bunch of asserts, then to run. You run that. Subsuite to run a specific test. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Okay, let's take a look at some of the existing tests. Okay. All right, well, let's add a new one. So we're going to create a new file at, what is it? Tools lint test. Tools lint test. We're going to call this one test manifest alpha. Is that what I called it before? Yeah, test manifest alpha. .py. And we'll make sure we track it. And let's take a look at this file. Okay, pretty empty. No surprise. Interestingly, no license header. Some of them have a license header. Maybe it's implied. I thought I saw a license header. Did I not see a license header? There's one. There's one. All right. I'm just going to be cautious and make sure I add a license header. Okay, so I'm going to call this linter manifest alpha. Or test manifest alpha. Test manifest alpha. Because that's the name of it right here. And then what does a test look like? It's like, here's a bunch of things. Lint, and then you pass it some paths, and presumably we can have some test files. Like, where's bad.py? I see. I'm guessing there's some like special magic that's, yeah, doing the mapping for us. So what I can do is maybe I can create a new folder here. Test manifest alpha. And we're gonna HG, well, let's get an example test manifest. Let's do a simple one. Let's do picture-in-picture. Tests browser.ini. This is not simple, but I'll copy this, and then we're going to simplify it. New file. We'll call it browser.ini. I did find the bad.py. Now, I actually had looked at black, but you're right. It's in Flake 8, bad.py. This is the one. Yeah, Flake 8, bad.py. There she be. Okay, so we've got our we've got a file in here. Let's just make sure we're tracking this stuff. HG tools, lint test files, test manifest. Test with dashes, I guess, manifest alpha. Okay, and then in our test file, or our test script here, we're going to open up test, or browser.ini, and we are going to fail these assertions, I presume, but that's okay. I just want to run the test, so let's copy this. Mock blah 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 manifest alpha. Let's see what happens. Now, I just added this test. It's possible it's going to want me to do mock build faster to register. Oh, well, hold up. No, it's regenerating the backend, so it knows. It knows to look. No tests collected for subsuite moslint. What? Mock by subsuite moslint. Maybe that's an out-of-date way of invoking the tests. I guess that's possible. Subsuite moslint right there. Oh, I need to add it to this manifest. Right. It's so recursive. Hopefully this manifest is in alphabetical. I guess it's not in alphabetical, but maybe it doesn't matter because the way the Python framework works, the test runner works, maybe it does run it in whatever it's defined in. Like, it's only the Moki test runner that runs it in alphabetical. So I guess I'll just add it to the end here. Test manifest alpha. graph.py. All right, let's try it. Okay. Unexpected fail. Right. There were 32 problems. Not surprising, because I'll bet you all of this is like out of order. Let's simplify this a little bit. And then put some of these out of order. Here, we'll get rid of a bunch down here. A bunch of this stuff. So what's out of order? Well, I would expect something with capital A to actually run first. So that is going to fail right there. And then let's see. Yeah, so we've reduced the issues. Now it would be nice if we could see what the results are. We can actually do that. Mock lint. What's the way to invoke this? Mock lint. Linters to run. L test manifest alpha Python. No. Tools lint tests test manifest files test manifest alpha browser.ini. Okay. What? That is not what I expected. Does it not care? Okay, it is looking at the path. It's saying that there are 0 errors, 0 warnings, 0 fixed. If there are, can I make it really aggressive? Like maybe it's needs, I want to hear about all issues. Display and fail on warnings and additions to errors. -W. Maybe that's what I want. No. Did I somehow fix it? Like, this should obviously break if I do this. Let's run test manifest alpha on toolkit components picture tests browser.ini. Yeah. Oh, and that one got 32 warnings. Okay. Pause. So how come this one's okay? Sorry, not that one. Let's dig in. I'm going to use a debugger. What? What? Can I print stuff? Hello? Will it? What is happening? Oh, am I somehow skipping it? Is this even running? Am I running my script here? Like if I like raise, oh no. Yeah, that should have exploded. Right. So somehow whenever I do this, it doesn't like it. Now if I were to run the test with the test framework, maybe that's the problem. Is I can't just run the test file directly. It looks like I can print to the console though. Well, that's good. So let's look and see what the results are. Print res message. Okay. Now this looks right. Like, yeah, that's out of alphabetical order. It's all out of alphabetical order. So let's do one where there's like lots of things and not in alphabetical order, and then we'll do one where there's one thing that's been put out of alphabetical order. So we'll call this one, let's actually rename this one. Browser, or no, tools, lint, test, files, browser. Test manifest alpha. We're going to call this, instead of browser, we're going to call it tools, lint, files, test manifest alpha. Lint, test, files, test manifest alpha. We're going to call it very out of order. Okay. And then we're going to update our test to refer to very out of order. Test very out of order. We should expect 17 failures, right? Okay. And then the things that are out of order, let's by hand try and come up with the list. Expected out of order equals, and then we're going to put a bunch of test names in a row. Very out of order. So this one, well, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So some of it is in order and some of it is not. This is out of order. This one's out of order. You're out of order. You're out of order. This whole file is out of order. Out of order. For result of, or in results, index result in enumerate results. I think that's how you do that. Assert expected out of order index to be equal to result index. Equals expect len expected. Issue object is not subscriptable. What? Subs is not what does that mean? Object is not subscriptable. Oh, I can't just use. Oh, right. Sorry. Result dot what was it? No. Can I include other things? Test name. Can I do that? Test name. Is it just a bag I can put stuff in? Warnings in syntax error. Right, I need a comma here. Okay. Cert issue object has no attribute test name, so I can't just like throw something in like that. All right. So I guess it's the line numbers that I need to care about. Unless there's like additional, is there an additional information bucket? Line number column, hint, source, rule, source code, context, name of the rule that was violated, line offset, path message, line number. I might just have to do it by line number. Oh man, all right. It's kind of annoying. All right, well, let's put this side by side. Whoops. We can look at our line numbers. What is wrong with you? Come on, go into here. Thank you. Okay. Context menu. Is line 12. And then this one is line 13. And this one's line 14. Let's see if that works. Index result, expected out of order, line no. Equals result, line no. Cert 13 equals 14. So it does think that this is in the right spot. It doesn't expect AAA to be there. Okay, I guess it really depends, because what it's doing is it like puts everything in alphabetical order and just does a line by line search or comparison. And I guess if one of them is in the right order, it's going to skip it. And so presumably these two just need to be swapped, and that's why this is in the right spot. So then this one's probably in the right spot, and this one's in the right spot, right? Now these close, unpip. Some of these are going to be wrong. Context menu it complains about next. Oh yeah, well we already did that one. And then cannot trigger from content is out of order. 16. Browser cannot trigger from content.js. Close unpip focus and close page navigation, enclosed pip pause, corner snapping, all of these are out. So 17 through 21 are 17, 18, 19, and 21. And we probably don't have to do all of it. I can simplify this a bit further. Like maybe I can do just a few more. Corner snapping and then close tab. 23, 24. And then flip icon with RTL. Let's do that one last. And then we can get rid of these. And then we'll put this like that. Let's see what it thinks of this. Failed. Expected out of order is not defined, right? Because I changed the name. Failed. 16 is not 15. Oh, I missed one. Background tab. I missed another one. I can make this easier for myself. Line no. Okay. 12, 14, 15. 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 23, 24, and not 26. Okay. I believe it. I believe. Okay, and then I want to do one where it's like almost everything is in order except one thing. Like something's been injected at the end or something. So let's use the same format. We're going to call it mostly in order .ini. So let's put this mostly in order. B, C, oh man, no PQR. Close player, close tab, close. HIJKL, PST code, D double. So this should all be in order, mostly in order. Actually, you know what I'm going to call? I'm going to save this as well. I'm going to do one that's in order. In order. Okay. And then mostly in order, I'm going to put one at the end and I'm going to call it browser some new test. Except that is in order. I'll just call it a new test.js. and that should be out of order. So mostly in order. So we're going to do one that's test in order. We expect the number of results to be 0. Hmm. 14 is not 0. 14. But there are only 4 reported. These aren't related to one another, are they? We're not keeping state around, are we? We are keeping state around. What? Lint results equals lint. Results is this thing, and then you're just appending to. Oh, it's got this like global. Oh, yeah, that's no good. That's no good. We need. Yeah. We need that to be function scoped. I don't know why that was globally scoped. It's a bad idea. All right. Okay, so it thinks that in order is actually out of order. It thinks that close pip focus, close unpip focus is out of alphabetical order, and close pip pause is alphabetical order, and close player and close tab is out of alphabetical order. Is this supposed to be at the end somehow? Is underscore ranked? Huh, okay. Underscore is ranked higher. All right, and then pip navigation changes pip because underscore is ranked high. Okay, so these two need to be reorganized. Okay, so that's in order. So we're gonna replace this stuff. Test in order, test mostly in order. We're going to say that we expect one result and that the result assert results 0 dot line number equals 30. Browser new test.js. Invalid syntax. Oh, assert. Yeah, equals. Failed. Oh, of course, because it expects this to be up there. How about something like that? You almost want to generate the minimal movements in order to sort something. Because what it's doing right now is it's sorting them, comparing them line by line, and going like, well, these are out of sync, so these are all failures. And what you want it to do is sort of describe, like, this is the minimum number of movements in order to put this in order. Minimum swaps to put to order array. I know that's like that's quicksort. It's like I want a set of instructions for the user to be like, okay, now put this one up there, put that one down there. Or maybe what we could do is we could print out the order that they're supposed to be in. Is there like result definition? Yeah, I wonder if it'd be better if instead of for each line doing this, then what we should do is just all at once, a single result of this is out of order, this is the order it should be in. Then I don't need this line hash thing. Okay, I think I like that better. Now that we've kind of set this all up and I can see what the output is kind of going to be. If test is not, then we can break immediately. We can stop. And the result, so the line number will be 0. Column 0, path is the file name, message, the test manifest, the Moki test manifest is out of alphabetical order, and then the hint the order should be and then expected sorted test names, join sorted test names. Let's see what happens if I just run that against the picture-in-picture thing. Invalid syntax. Yeah, sorry, I need a comma. Line number is not defined. Right. One warning. Let's get that warning. It's out of alphabetical order. Can I get hints? Like, how do you get the hint? Is the hint actually used? I might actually have to put it in the message because I don't think the hint is actually used. Expected ordering. sounds garbage. What am I saying here? Sorted. Oh yeah, double comma. No good. Expected ordering. Yeah, that's what I want. Just manifest is out of ordering. Do a two-liner here. Alphabetical order. Can I do it? Can I do that? Will it like that? Yes. Good. Okay, so then back to our test. We're not going to get line numbers or anything. We should results equals 1 and the well, maybe that's enough. In order 0, mostly in order. Sorry, I didn't mean to run that file again. I want to run the tests. Like, I wonder if this is sufficient. Yeah, maybe that's fine. Okay. I'm gonna amend that. Do I have everything? Test manifest alpha. Oh, the tests. Lint tools, lint test, test manifest, test files, test manifest alpha, anything.ini. Yeah, we had to add those two. Okay. Mozfab submit tip single whip, because I still want to hear back about this globbing stuff. But once I've got that sorted out, this might be something that we could land soon, and then we can start getting our manifests in alphabetical order, and that's good. All right, I think I'm gonna go now to questions. We're done with the source code portion of the joy of coding, so let's look at some questions here. Question from the sorted Smurf D. I do like the way you think. And speaking of Smurf D, hey, have I dreamt, or have you said you use a site called Roll20? I have used Roll20 before. Roll20 is a tool I use to play D&D with some friends. It's like an online web browser tabletop, a browser-based tabletop for doing like tabletop games like D&D. Seems as of late is not working so good with webcams in Firefox. Was thinking of filing a bug for it, but not sure how to give a good bug report. I can see my camera, but my friends can't see my camera. And I can't see theirs if they use Firefox, but if they use, say, Chrome, I can see them. But they can't see me until I switch to Chrome. So it sounds like we're having trouble sending a feed, or the camera feed, the camera device, the correct camera device isn't being used. So how to file a good bug for this? I would start by going to Bugzilla. Sorry, not SearchFox. Bugzilla. I'd say new bug for WebRTC, audio, video. Or you know what? I wouldn't even go here. I'd start with WebCompat, because our WebCompat people can help figure out whether or not it's the device that's the problem or not. I would go to webcompat.com, describe the steps to reproduce, report the bug. So it's like what site, and then like you can fill in more details and how you're testing it and stuff. That's what I would recommend in this particular case. And then our WebCompat team will do the right thing depending on what the results of their investigation is, because they'll do some investigation on it. Enjoy of Coding episode 237, which was back in 2021, January 13th. You received an MSU capstone patch for prevent picture-in-picture windows from opening on top of one another. Bug patches subsequently failed to land, and I thought it would be interesting to revisit with an overview postmortem of what caused a submitted patch to fail. Summary of patch behavior from the episode. Hopefully you could either purpose to fix the patch or ultimately add a comment to the bug indicating a likely method to fix it. So this is actually fortuitous timing, because there's been a lot of attention to picture-in-picture lately. We're about to ship like subtitle support and caption support, and we're making improvements to picture-in-picture. And this was sort of an interesting patch, because it was trying to prevent picture-in-picture player windows from overlapping one another. And so maybe we could, and it was like accepted, but then the patch bounced like per this commentary in here. So maybe we could revisit this. So let's set that up for next time, for next episode. Yeah, let's look at that next episode. Here, I'll even set up next week's episode. Create, note, Joy of Coding agenda. Next week, 7 days from now, will be April 13th, 2022, episode 286. We will look at this. Let's see if we can bring this patch back from the dead. All right, we can look at that next week. So that looks like that's it for questions. Thanks for sending those in. If you have any other questions or things you want me to talk about, send a question into the episode. There's this rate this episode link, and there's a section in there where you can submit questions. I love reading everything that comes in. And next week, maybe I'll even be back in the office to stream. Who knows? Who knows? Fingers crossed. It'll be nice to be in a slightly different location. I've been in this void for so long. All right. Well, thanks again for watching episode 285 of The Joy of Coding. I hope that was interesting. Let me know what you thought. Rate this episode and smash the buttons for engagement. Yeah, subscribe and stuff. And I will see you all virtually soon. Have yourselves a great week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.